Shalom. All praises go to the Most High Yahweh. Ba'ashem Yahushua, Ba'ashem Adawakadash, double honor, son to the elder apostles at Great Millstone, for the teachings of the scriptures, among other things. Shalom to the sincere Akim across the world. Right, so I said something yesterday about, and I did a video about, how you see Jacob descendants hating on dark-skinned people, even in 2025. And I'm thinking to myself, like, This is more than this has been going on for a few decades, maybe even centuries, but rather the last decade. Actually, going back since slavery. Actually, if I think about it right now, like, yeah, you're right. Oh yeah, slavery. Anyway, check this out. There's something going on between the Jacob descendants right now, where they talk about, especially guys like this. I don't know. I hope he's a tare. I think he's a tare. He might not be, But anyway, guys like this, Edomites, and also you have just so-called black people say this from time to time. There's a difference between niggas with the hard R, whatever you want to say, or a nigger, whatever, and black people. There's a difference. No, there's not. Wait. Right. So I also typed in something because I had here Sudan woman. So I put it there. And then here I typed in CNN nigger mean black or nigad. Actually, this is how you spelled it back in the days. But because they have an American accent, they put the G up in there. Because it's actually nigad or Niger or actually negro. But which is Spanish, negro. But then they came to America, conquistadors. And the American people actually eventually they started to have an accent, okay? And then they started to say negro. They can't say negro, so they say negro. Then they started to talk like that because they have an accent, But this is a Greek word, so it's still from them. From the Hebrew comes the Greek. Well, it's actually the language of Canaan, but we used it. And where was that again? Maybe I have it here. Shit, I don't want to go off topic, actually, because I'm already thinking like, oh, no, don't go. Don't go with another topic. Okay, so this is the Hamitic language. Like, I think this is Phoenician, if I'm correct. But, no. Sorry, what am I talking about? Mizraim, but you had Mizraim using this, but then they have their own form also in that land of Mizraim itself, which is, hieroglyphs and stuff like that. And then you had other Hamites that had their language. But anyway, this is Proto-Sinaitic, which is before. And then you have the so-called Phoenician, but Esau is the devil, so he doesn't explain it to you. This is not well, let me say it good. The word Phoenician goes back to the word Canaan, and therefore, when you read the scriptures, it says that we speak the language of Canaan. That is what we speak. This is the language of Canaan. But you had the Philistines, which are the Mizraimites, that also lived in the land of Canaan. Amos chapter 9 shows you that. The Philistines that came from Captor. Captor is the brother of Canaan, which is a Mizraim. Genesis 10, you can read that. You will see. But anyway, they came from Captor, and then but Philistines are not Captor, they are Casluhim. That's the other brother of Captor, but they was living among their brothers. Just like how Simeon, where did I put that one? I'm already bad with memory, but yeah, here. So, just like how you have Simeon in the midst of Judah, you had here these giants in the midst of Canaan. So these were Mizraim, right? Casluhim, Philistim. Okay, so going back to over here. Oh yeah. Right, so the language of Canaan is what we spake. Now what did Abraham speak? Abraham spake the language of Aram. That's why with Laban, when Jacob went to Laban, he spoke the language of Aram. You know, because that here. Okay, he called it Jagar Sahadutha, and then Jacob called it Galid. Okay, that's one example. And then you had Rachel also say the same thing, for she died. Rachel was dying, that she called his name Benoni. But his father Jacob called him Benjamin. Why did she say another name? That's her language. The language of Aram. But is she from Aram, like Genesis 10 Aram? This Aram? Is Abraham then therefore also from Genesis 10 Aram, which is Genesis 10:21? Unto Shem also the father of the children of Eber, the brother of Japheth. Here, 22. The children of Shem, Elam, and Ashur, and Arphaxad, and Lut, and Aram. So Aram is actually a man. So everyone that comes from Aram is an Aramite, right? Which is, this name is then therefore turned by the caucus. It's turned into Syrian, as you can see here. I'll put this link in the description box so you can check it out for yourself. It's very powerful, for me at least, to learn and stuff like that. The names Syria, Assyria, Mesopotamia, Babylon, etc. stem from the Greeks. Despite having accurate knowledge, they persisted on using those names. The old, true, and single names of these lands is Aram. Yeah, because just like how Manasseh got greater, just like how Manasseh was the first, but Ephraim got greater than him, same thing with Aram. Aram is the last, but even Ashur, which is translated by the caucus into Assyria, here, Assyria, but all of them lived in the land of Aram. Same thing with Uz. Uz is a child of Aram, but you had Job, an Israelite. Where did he live? He lived in the land of Aram, because he lived in the land of Uz. Okay, but yeah, so Aram, he was the one that everybody kind of, you know, it was all named after him. Just like I said, Simeon in the midst of, Simeon in the midst of Judah. Isaiah 36, it shows you that the Israelites, they understand it, because it says here, speak unto us in the Syrian, which is Aram language, for we understand it. Speak not unto us in the Jews' language, which is the language of Canaan. Here, in that day shall five cities of Judah, in the land of Mizraim, in the land of Egypt, modern day Egypt is America, speak the language of Canaan, and in that language, so we shall swear unto Yahweh the power, one shall be called the city of destruction. Once the Judites get their spiritual powers, they're going to be called the city of destruction, because everybody and everything that will make mention of them shall be afraid, because it says right here, within themselves, just like how back in the days everybody was afraid of the caucus, afraid to look in his eyes. Well, you eyeballing me, boy? Everybody was scared. The Asiatic were scared. The Arab, they kept on fighting. They were shit. But then they are afraid still, but still they're not afraid to a certain degree. But the Most High put the fear of Jacob within Jacob. Deuteronomy 28. You know, he took that roaring lion spirit away, because to punish us even more and make us a bunch of chickens, bitches, whatever. Anyway, so we speak the language of Canaan. So therefore, that's why this would then therefore make sense. This is the language of the Phoenician. Here, Phoenicians did not call themselves here. It says here, term Canaanites corresponded to the ethnic group referred as the Phoenicians by the Greeks. The Greeks are the ones that started to name people. Not only the people of Aram, the world. The Japanese people don't call themselves Japanese. Here, Nippon. Nippon or Nihon. Nihon with an H. Here, Nihon, but Nippon. Yeah. As you can kind of say it in the American way, Nippon, but they say Nihon. Nihon, right? And then you have, what was I saying again? Yeah, I don't need to get all that, but anyway. Phoenicians did not refer to themselves as Phoenicians, but rather are thought of motherfucker. They know exactly what the goddamn devil. They know exactly. Same thing with what did people call dragons before 1841? Then they say, well, we pursue or we think that they used to call them dragons. No, you know that they used to call them dragons before you called them dinosaurs. You know that. But you know, this is a creation of doubt, and Esau knows a doubt is very destructive and very, very powerful. Look at the Peter, oh thou of little faith, why didst thou doubt? He started to sink. So Esau knows that if he brings a little bit of doubt, then he can cause you to not make it into the kingdom. Yeah, that he is the creator of doubt. He's the path of destruction. He's the son of perdition. He's like that guy. That's why Yahushua said, take care that no man take that crown. Right? Refer to themselves of Canaan, which is Hanan, or Hananya is Hanan, is Canaan, meaning Canaanites. If I'm correct, it was Hanan. If you look it up in the Hebrew, look at the Bible, I think it's Hanan. It's just Hananya. Hey, what am I doing? Canaan. Canaan, and then you look it up. It says here, Kanaya, Kanai, what? Kanain. Kana. What the fuck am I doing? Kanan. What is this? Is this? And Ka. Na. He. Na. And then you remove this. Canine. That's it. Canine. But yeah. In the English, you say that Hanan here. Sorry, from the Greek to the English. Sorry. I made a mistake there. Let me show you what I mean. Oh yeah, I can get it here actually. The book of Suzanne. That's what came in my head. Sorry about that. Here. Hanan, here, Canaan. Oh, thou son of Canaan. If you know what it is, then you will see that this is Canaan. But this is from the Greek to the English. So that's what got in my head. Sorry about that. But yeah. I think I saw somewhere Hanan, but let me leave that because I can't show it. I can't prove it right now, so I just think. Anyway, let me leave that alone. Okay, so now going back to over here, which shows you that we will speak the language of Canaan. So the language that, look, it's not a Canaanite language. It's the language that we speak while being in the land of Canaan. So thus it is the language of Canaan, because we were there talking that, and Abraham did not talk that. Later when he came there, he could understand what they're saying, and they could understand what he was saying, but they spoke a different language. And First Chronicles chapter 1 verse, it shows you the bloodline of Laban. The bloodline of Laban is not Aram, even though Laban is called a Syrian here. I hope you understand what I'm doing here, because there's a lot of confusion going on with the name of, how you call that thing again? The race of Laban and also Abraham. Okay, so 25 and 20. So Genesis 25:20. And Isaac was 40 years old when he took Rebekah to wife, the daughter of Bethuel. So who is Bethuel? If you go to Genesis 22 and then you go on down, verse 20. Genesis 22, verse 20. And it came to pass after these things that it was told Abraham, saying, Behold, Milcah. So who is Milcah? Now you go to Genesis 11, which is the bloodline of Arphaxad, which is where we come from, right? The Israelites. We come from Arphaxad and not from Aram. And if we come from Arphaxad, then Abraham comes from Arphaxad. And if Abraham comes from Arphaxad, then Nahor and Haran also come from Arphaxad. So what are they? They are Hebrews also, but they just not called that. The children of Eber, which we will also fight against. All the children of Eber are our enemies. Here you can see that. Numbers 24. Eber, Ibar, which is Hebrew. Abraham the Hebrew here. Abraham, should I spelled it there? Okay, Genesis 14:13. It says here, Abram the Hebrew, right? Let me get that here and then here. I hope I don't confuse you by jumping all over the place, so sorry about that. Genesis 14 and 13. So it says, Abram the Hebrew, right? Where is, should I put this one? Okay, now Hebrew here, which is Hebrew 5680. Ibadia, right? Which is Hebrew, one from beyond. Okay, cool. One from beyond, like the past, basically, you could say. And it comes from this word right over here, which is Eber. He is a descendant of Eber. So, then you see this word here, root word. What does root mean? Etymology, the study of the origin of words. That's all I need. You can read the rest, but that's all I want, okay? Etymology of the word devil. Yeah, the word devil means deceiver. That's actually the meaning of the word. Because when they're in your head, they're deceiving you. Like, hey man, you could fight Mike Tyson, you know what I'm saying? And when he's 20 years old, being a woman can do all. Yeah, that's the devil talking to you in your head, boy. He gonna fool you. He gonna trick you. And you're gonna fall for it because he's very powerful. If the Lord is not with you. Anyway, so that root word, is that what it means here? And then going back to Genesis, okay, that one. And then let me go here, which is Abraham the Hebrew, sorry. Abraham the Hebrew, Genesis. I was just looking. Oh yeah, that's what I want. Ibar. Here, okay. And then going to First Chronicles 1 and where did I put that? Okay, First Chronicles 1 and damn it. Fuck it, I'll just type in this one. Okay, First Chronicles 1 and basically here. You know, Eber, whatever here. First Chronicles 1, okay. Let me just still get it here because it might not be like an I forgot the word in the English, but it's overzichtelijk, like you can't see good. That's what I mean. Here I mapped I colored everything so you can see better. That's what I mean. Okay. The bloodline of Shem, then Arphaxad, that you can see it for yourself, Lord willing. And then here comes Terah and Abraham. So they are all Shemites and they are all Ebers, which is all. And then I'm going to show you what the word Eber means. Where is it again? 25. Okay, 25. And then I click on this, Hebrews 5677. That's Ibar, which is Aber or Heber, or you know, Eber or Heber. Okay, that's it, right? Okay, Hebrew, Israel. Okay, now you know that. So I'm not making stuff up. So everybody that comes from Eber is a Hebrew, actually. You know, they're not called that, but we know that they are that, right? Just like how Esau is a Hebrew Edomite. He is a Hebrew. Ishmael is a Hebrew Ishmaelite. Moab and Ammon are actually Hebrew Moabites and Hebrew Ammonites. Elam No, Elam not, sorry. Because he doesn't come from Eber. I was thinking about it like, wait a minute. Let me not talk too much because I really need to go and read and see. Okay, yeah. Okay, so it says right here, Numbers chapter 24, verse 24. And the ship shall come from the coast of Hittim. Now, if you want to know what that is, okay, I'm jumping around too much actually, I think. No, I know. It says here, First Maccabees chapter 1, verse 1. And it happened that after that Alexander, the son of Philip, the Macedonian, who came out of the land of Hittim. It's the same thing. They just spelled it different. You can look it up for yourself if you want to. I did it in other videos, so I'm not going to do it here. But anyway, so let me go back to over here. So, and shall afflict Assyria. This is Ashur, right? And shall afflict Eber. And he also shall perish forever. But the people that come from Eber shall be afflicted by, well, the other heathens and stuff like that. But they are our enemies also, because if you go out to the history, you will see that eventually that we will fight them in the future. Let me see. Jeremiah chapter 30 verse 16. It shows you that. That's one. But let me not go into this. It's too much. It's too much explaining. I don't want to go in there right now. Like I said, other videos I did that. I just wanted to focus on the word black versus nigger. Okay, so now, okay, so the Eber thing, all that there. And my point of all this is to show you that Laban is also a Hebrew. So he is not from Aram, as people would understand. It says it, but that is not what the meaning of that is. Okay, Eber the Hebrew, sorry, Abram the Hebrew. I think I already proved that, right? Here, Genesis 14 here, it shows you that it's Ibar, which is the same thing I just showed you here, which is this. Hebrew 5677. And this is Hebrew 5680, right? So, Abraham, well, his name was changed later to Abraham, the Hebrew, and therefore his brother, Nahor, is a Hebrew also. And his other brother that passed away is a Hebrew also. And this brother that passed away left behind a son named Lot. Guess what? He's a Hebrew also. So now that we know that they're Hebrews, right? Lord willing. Going now to his descendants, which is here. Genesis 20. Genesis 22. So, verse 20. And it came to pass after these things that it was told Abraham, saying, behold, Milcah, oh yeah, Milcah. Genesis 20, wow. Genesis 21. Here you have Milcah. Here, Milcah, which is Nahor's wife, the daughter of Haran. So let that sink in. Let me read it again for you. And Abraham took Nahor, and Haran died, right? Okay. I just jump a little bit because, like I said, I don't want to go up in it. I did it in other videos, so I'm going to just glance over it. And Haran died, which is his youngest brother. He died before his father Terah in the land of his nativity in Ur of the Chaldees, right? And Abraham took Nahor. And Abraham and Nahor took them wives. The name of Abraham's wife was Sarai, and the name of Nahor's wife, Milcah, the daughter of Haran. Now this was before all that there, but Caleb, his nephew, took his Caleb, his brother, had a son, which is then therefore his nephew, and his son took Caleb, his daughter. So the nephew took the cousin, like his uncle's daughter. That's allowed, and it's actually a law of Moses, as you can see here, Moses' law, that you should take your brother's sister. Here, you can read the rest for yourself if you have the time, so please forgive me on that. Who is thy cousin? Okay, named Sarah. Okay, so it says here, and the angel was talking. So the angel is saying it about Yahweh, the words that the Heavenly Father told him to go and tell him. Okay, let me go on. Verse 12. So Tobit chapter 6, verse 12. And the maid was fair and wise. Has nothing to do with her skin color. It was just beautiful. Now therefore hear me, because leprosy is not fair. Okay? It's a curse. Now therefore hear me. That's why it's funny that people glorify it. I'll get to that later. Now therefore hear me. Let me see what time it is. Sorry. Okay. Oh damn. And I will speak to her father. And when we return to Ragas or Ragas, we will celebrate the marriage. Here it comes. For I know that Raguel cannot marry her to another. Why? According to the law of Moses. What law? But, well, what does that law imply? But he shall be guilty of death. Whoa! So, according to the law of Moses, he shall be guilty of death if he marries her to another person. But he shall be guilty of death. But because why? Sorry. Because the right of inheritance doth rather appertain to thee than any other. Why? She was his only daughter. Therefore, she belongs to Tobit by right. So your cousin is actually by right yours, especially if she's the only daughter. So you as a father having a daughter, Jacob descendant daughter, and you decide to give her hand to a caucus. Okay. You should know what I just said or implied. I didn't say it. I could say it, I don't care, but you know, think for yourself, Lord willing. You need to, we need a judge for that. How about that? Okay, cool. Let me go on to something else. Okay. So Milcah is that. Yeah. Yep. Okay. And then go into Genesis 22 and 20. And it came to pass after these things that it was told Abraham, saying, Behold, Milcah, she had also borne children unto thy brother, Nahor. Okay. Then 23, and Bethuel begat Rebekah. This same Rebekah is now the wife of Genesis 25 and 20. And Isaac, the son of Abraham, and Isaac was 40 years old when he took Rebekah to wife, the daughter of Bethuel. See, Rebekah is his niece, if I'm correct. If I looked it up good, you can look it up for yourself. But if I'm correct, it's his niece or his cousin, one of those two. He is her uncle or he is her cousin, one of those two. I kind of forgot, but yeah, you can think for yourself. I just gave you the things where you could look, and then you could go study it for yourself, right? Lord willing. So, took Rebekah to wife, the daughter of Bethuel, the Syrian of Padan Aram. Now, if you look up this one, Genesis 25 and 20, it will say the daughter of Bethuel the Syrian, the sister to Laban the Syrian, as you can read it here, the sister to Laban the Syrian. So it implies that these people are from Aram here. Laban the Syrian is the same word, Hebrews 7:6-1. It says Aramya, which is Syrian or Aramean, which is the language that who spoke that language, do you think? Let me go to Genesis 24 and 3. And I will make thee swear by Yahweh, the power of heaven and the power of the earth. This is Abraham talking. He said to his servant, his eldest servant, right? He said that thou shalt not take a wife unto my son of the daughters of the Canaanites. So he did not want the Phoenicians, aka the Phoenicians, to get married unto the son, among whom I dwell. But thou shalt go unto my country and to my kindred, my family. I want him, my family, okay? My family. And take a wife unto my son Isaac. And where did he go? Verse 10. Here, the power of heaven, Yahweh, which took me out, okay, father's house and the land of my kindred. Okay, go back to jump to 10. And the servant took 10 camels of the camels of his master, Abraham, and departed. For all the goods of his master were in his hands, because that is what he wanted to leave behind for his servant. But the Lord had different things in his plan. Were in his hand. And he arose, and this is it, and went to Mesopotamia unto the city of Nahor. And what city was that? The city of Haran. As you can see it here. Genesis chapter 10, verse 11. They went to Haran. And they went to Haran, and Terah died in Haran. So now they went from Haran toward the land of Canaan, because the Lord told him here in verse 1, get thee out of thy country, and get thee away from thy kindred, and go to the land of Canaan, out of the land of Haran. And where was that? That was... no, it's not here. It's not here. Wow. Sorry, wait. Like I said, plus this is kind of new. And even when it was old, still struggling. Damn. Where is it, man? I think it's here. I don't think it's, sorry, I did a mistake. I don't think it was, this was there. I think it was here, maybe. No. Damn. Wait. Okay, I got it. Now it says right here, right? So this is Padan Aram. That whole region is named Aram. You can catch that in Numbers 22, verse 5 or 7. And then Numbers 23, verse 5 or 7. And then Deuteronomy, is what the caucus said right here. He said, those lands' names are Aram. And you can catch it here, man. Let me just show you it. Numbers 22 and 5 here. So Balaam, the son of Beor of Pethor, his people, which is by the river of the land of his people, he came from there. That river is Euphrates. And then going to Numbers 23 and 7, and he, Balak the Moabite, right? Balak the Moabite, Balaam the Aramite, right? And he took up his parable. So Balaam took up his parable and said unto Balak the king of Moab, Balak the king of Moab had brought me from Aram. So he comes from Aram. Balak, out of his own mouth, said that he comes from Aram. Okay. So where is Aram? Deuteronomy 23 and 7. No, sorry, 4. Balaam, the son of Peor, of Pethor, of Mesopotamia. That's it. So he is from Aram, the land of Aram. And therefore, the caucus is right when he when he spoke it in 1714. He is biblically correct. That this is biblically correct what he said, right? Those lands were actually, Babylon also was called the land of Aram because the Shemites were there. And then Cush came, and now everybody thinks Babylon is a Cushite place. No, it was a Shemite place, but Cush came there and ruled over them because he wanted to make that one world order. And then Ashur, he fled from there, like, I ain't listening to you, punk. And then he moved. And that's one of the reasons throughout the whole history you see Babylon and Assyria fighting. And then sometimes Assyria rules over Babylon, and sometimes Babylon rules over Assyria. They have to continual fight. But when it came to the Israelites, they formed together and then they fought the Israelites. So that's funny. Because they need to. They need to. All the nations need to get together and because they know, like, shit, if they win, we all go into slavery. Fuck that. I don't want that. I'm too proud. Fuck them. Let's fight them. So then, anyway, so yeah, so Bethuel and all that there, Laban is a Hebrew, but they were called Aram. They were called Syrian. As you can see it here. Okay, so damn. All that there, damn, 22, 34 minutes, damn. Okay, wow. I almost even forgot why I even pulled all that up, but anyway. Let me click everything away. Then, oh yeah, that I'll put in the description box, so you can check it out for yourself. Get out of the country. Versus 25. I don't know. Yeah, the bloodline and stuff like that. Okay. Damn. Wait. Okay, that was all that there, you know, concerning the land of Canaan, the language of Canaan, sorry, that we spake in that time. Okay, but like I said, we come from Aram. We come from the region of Aram, sorry. And in that region, they spake Aram language. And Assyria also spake Aram language. Here you can see that. He was the servant of Ashur, but he spake Aram. You can read this for yourself. You will figure it out. Anyway, let me go on.